How about a Coppola quick facts?
Panos Cosmatos is actually the son of George P. Cosmatos, who directed such films as Leviathan, Cobra, Rambo First Blood Part 2, and Tombstone. So,
wow.
Good bloodline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tombstone is one of my all-time favorite films. And of course, I'll admit that I'm a big fan of the whole Rambo series. And First Blood Part 2 is such a it's like the first movie is like they tried to tell a story, and the second movie they were like, let's just blow some shit up. This will be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they first movie they told a story and satirized stuff, and then the second movie just leaned into everything they were satirizing in the first movie.
Yep.
Just abandoned the thoughtfulness.
Damn it, it's satisfying. Especially, I mean, there's kind of a parallel here of how satisfying it is when John Rambo gets on the radio in First Blood Part 2, and he's like, Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. And then he kills everybody in the whole camp and busts out of there. It's kind of similar to Mandy in a lot of ways.
It is. Yeah, it is.
That I've seen that scene probably 100 times, and it still gives me the chills. Like every time I see him, like, Murdoch, coming to get you.
There's a synthwave album that I really like from an artist called Mega Drive.
Oh, yeah.
Samples that line at the start of one of his songs. It's so good.
Well, synthwave fans are going to love this movie. During an interview with GQ magazine, Nicolas Cage disclosed that when Panos Cosmatos first approached him to be in the film, he wanted him to play the role of Jeremiah Sand, the cult leader. And Cage read the script and said that he identified with Red much more than with Jeremiah Sand. And it seems like this is a trend now. It's like Nick does like one crazy role and then he does one straight role. And like when he reads the script, he's like, well, I just played a crazy person, so maybe this time I should play a normal person. Panos told him...
Which is funny because Red is also kind of crazy in this. Driven to
He doesn't really
insanity.
start out crazy, but he goes crazy throughout his journey. Panos told him that this story was about old age versus youth, and he didn't think that Red was right to play, or that he was right to play the role of Red, and no agreements were made. A year later, through Elijah Wood, again, going back to Color Out of Space, same group made this movie that made Color Out of Space. So Elijah Wood, he was in a movie called The Trust, which I think we're going to do next season. And that's where he got to know Nick Cage really well. And now he's like kind of becoming Nick Cage's biggest cheerleader. And he convinced Panos Cosmatos to give him another shot. So Elijah Wood met with the two of them to discuss the film, and this time they explored more in detail the themes of love and loss of love within the film, and they discussed those same themes within their personal lives. And by this time, everything just clicked, and Panos felt totally comfortable in Cage playing the role of Red. Yeah, I guess he just kind of abandoned that youth versus old age type of thing, because Jeremiah Sand is probably about the same age as Nick Cage in this movie.
Yeah.
In a 2018 UK Guardian interview, Nicolas Cage described his performance inspiration is just like right before they started shooting, his 14-year marriage to Alice Kim Cage came to a sudden end, which he said was a shocker for me. Didn't see it coming, and those feelings had to go somewhere, so they went into this performance. So, once again, divorce plays a role. Because that was the story in The Weatherman too. Was like he put his divorce into that, which had just his previous marriage had just ended before The Weatherman. So it all ties together, man. Speaking of tying together, Panos Cosmatos' favorite Nicolas Cage movie is, can you guess, Vampire's Kiss?
Yes. A man of good taste.
Yes. According to co-writer Aaron Stewart-On, I think that's how you say it, AHN, Stewart-on.
Sounds right.
When he and Panos Cosmatos presented Mandy at the Cannes Film Festival, Cosmatos described it as a film about the death of his parents, which again, I'm not really sure if I got that from this movie. The youth versus old age didn't really pan out, and then this this story, like this is after the film was done and they presented it. He said that the film was about the death of his parents. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. I didn't get that. Mom was burned to death, and dad went on a murder rampage.
Dealing with death or loss, I guess. Maybe?
Yeah, probably like probably deal with loss through
sudden
death.
loss. You know, unless unless the cult leaders were supposed to be his parents.
I mean, it was George P. Cosmatos, the director. So I don't know. He wasn't a lumberjack. But anyways, I mean, I definitely feel like I can read into that and see where he's coming from. But maybe that's just how he approached the project. Like this was his therapy, for his parents dying, which I can relate. This movie is, of course, dedicated to the composer Johan Johansson, 1969 through 2018. This wasn't the last film that came out that he did, but this was one of the very last things that he did before he died. One of the last things he was working on to finish up. So sad. While the beginning of the film features the standard cast, filmmakers, and crew credits, the title card of this movie does not show up until an hour and 15 minutes into the film, which I thought was intentional. Like, it kind of like set it apart as like there's, the Shadow Mountains, which is Red and Mandy's story, and then the
Age of the New Dawn.
Age of the New Dawn.
Or Children
of the New Dawn. Section was all about them, and then the Mandy section is all about getting revenge for Mandy. And then the final quick fact here, which I found a ton of quick facts that are all smattered throughout the breakdown. So there'll be a lot of little extra things in this one. But the final thing is that although this is set in California, which I, for some reason, thought it was in Washington, but the Shadow Mountains are actually in California, and they confirmed that that's where it's intended to be, is in California. So it's Pacific Northwest, sort of. But even though it was intended to be in California, this entire movie was shot in Belgium. We're 9-10 movies into this thing, and so far we haven't left the United States once in context. They've filmed in different places, like Color Out of Space was filmed in Spain, and then this was filmed in Portugal. That's right. And then this was filmed in Belgium. So we have jumped out filming wise, but we haven't jumped out of the country as far as like where things are set, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.